It's that time of year again. Back to school you go. With me today, Superintendent Meg Mayo Brown, to welcome all of our students in Barnstable Public School Systems back to school. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you today.
So, are you excited?
I am super excited. We are welcoming back over 5,200 students to Barnstable Public Schools.
5,000 kids and probably twice the amount of parents jumping for joy right now.
Probably. A lot of sad students and happy parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we start the school year, let's talk a little bit about what's new. You've mentioned that you've got 40 new teachers on board this year.
We do, and they are from the Cape and beyond. We have a couple of teachers from Colorado and certainly some that are local, but we welcome 40 teachers to Barnstable Public Schools, which we're also very excited about. You know, the teachers some of them are beginning their careers with them, while others are continuing their careers with us, but very high quality teachers. Again, very excited that they're joining us.
So is that across the spectrum of grades from elementary through high school?
It sure is. We have, even from kindergarten through all the way through high school. We have a new assistant principal for Barnstable United as well as Barnstable Intermediate School. So our parents will see new faces in terms of teachers and administrators this year.
And the kids will see new teachers too.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's most important. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's start at the elementary.
Yeah.
It's the first, obviously, week of school and the first day of school. What can students expect for the year, and parents for elementary?
Sure. For elementary, we're continuing our curriculum in, math, English language arts, science, and social studies. Our parents know we have a new math program that we're using that really builds our students' understanding of math, right? So maybe when you and I went to schools, a lot of drill around knowing our math facts, right? But did we spend a lot of time in really understanding what those math facts represented and the concepts behind them? So math instruction has really shifted to building students what we refer to as conceptual understanding around mathematics. So that may look very different to parents. We're in our second year of that. So last year we worked with grades kindergarten and first grade as well as grades 4 and 5. So students in grades 2 to 3 will see some new math this year.
And I love the conceptual piece of it because it never made sense to take apples on a train.
Yeah, right.
And everyone says, well, I'm never going to use this in real life, but this is real life conceptualization of how math is used.
It sure is, and it's fun. So for one of my favorite units is called Thanksgiving Dinner. So the teacher, tells this great story that she's planning Thanksgiving dinner and she's got this many people coming over, and she needs to figure out how big of a turkey to buy based on the number of people she has coming for dinner. Right. So the kids have to, and if you're having a ½ pound per person and I have 10 people coming, what size is my turkey? Now, I think that's just a little bit of fun for kids to figure that out in the context of some great story. So,
right.
Yeah. And then it sticks, right?
It sticks.
Yeah.
Exactly. And mashed potatoes. Everybody can divvy up the mashed potatoes too. How about the intermediate school? This is that time of life for young students. They're tweens, I guess you would call them. What's new in that area?
So the intermediate school continues its work around effective effort, right? So we really want our students to start to take more and more responsibility for their own learning, to make the connection that effort creates ability. The more effort you put into a task, that's gonna benefit you. Also around growth mindset, that intelligence is not fixed, is what we're teaching kids. You can grow your brain, through challenging tasks and really working on your effort. You can grow the muscle. The brain is a muscle, and we want to exercise it and we want to grow it. So it's shifting to that, from relying more on the teacher for learning to really becoming more independent about your own learning. So we start to build, because that's so important in high school as well, right? So we want to start that work at the intermediate school. And then, the intermediate school in terms of focusing a lot on social relationships with one another. There's a great effort there around kindness and being kind to one another and creating a positive learning community. On the more academic side, we are so excited that we have a living lab, which was built in June, right between the property between Barnstable Intermediate School and the high school. So our students for science can go out into that living lab area and do all kinds of studying on the environment and ecology. So that's a great addition to have. The more hands-on opportunities we can give our students, the better it is for them to learn.
Right, and that almost leads us into now our high school hands-on. I hear there's new internships too.
Yeah, we're so excited about that too. And that's really a huge thank you to our community for opening up their businesses, or whether it's a municipal, fire or police or nonprofits. They've really opened their doors to our students. So the internship program, it's for seniors at Barnstable High School, has really expanded. I think we've doubled it in just a year's time because these students really want to be out there, right? They want to be exploring what careers might exist for them. They want to participate in that hands-on learning out of the classroom. So that program has expanded, and we've been able to create a schedule at Barnstable High School where we put together 2 teaching periods together. So it's a double block of time where students can be out in their internship. So that was great too. And in addition to creating that double block of time for internships, the schedule benefits all students at Barnstable High School because we've been able to increase the number through the schedule, increase the number of course options students can take. This high school really needs to be about sort of pursuing your talents and interests. And at times we've swung too far in education to just really focusing on the core content areas to the detriment of really allowing students to figure out what they like and what they're interested in. So I think this new schedule creates those opportunities. I think parents, as the years go by, will see that the program of studies, the course offerings, gets even richer in that regard.
Right. And high school is such a great time. We have one of those interns. We're very excited. But we also talked to Pat Clark about those electives. There's some really cool stuff that it's not just your standard art class or your standard music class. There's some very eclectic types of things that students can explore.
Sure, in each of the department areas. So we had asked teachers at the end of last school year or even before, be thinking what interests you, because it's reciprocal, right? It's not just about what students are interested in taking. Our teachers have a lot of talents and interests and passions that they want to share with our students, and we haven't really been able to open that up for a variety of reasons. And that's that's sort of the point of doing a new schedule as well, is to have teachers offer electives that they themselves are passionate about.
Right. There's a lot of stuff going on at the high school. There's a new library coming in this year. Do you want to talk to that a little bit?
I do. I was in there a couple of weeks ago, and it was down to studs, steel studs. So we were again, a lot of things to be excited about, but delighted that our students will have more of a 21st century learning space to learn and to go to. I think the library previously was very traditional in its look and feel, and the folks over there in the library have just gone to great lengths to research different designs and figure out what's going to work best for our students. So you'll see a number of areas where students can work independently. I mean, we have some students that like to work alone. Right. There's group space where you can collaborate as students. There's meeting space. So again, and a lot of technology in the library, because again, technology is, for our students, as I often say, is their other second language. They're so proficient at using it that we need to capitalize on making sure that we have technology available for them to work with.
Right. And innovation spaces in schools happen everywhere, so from the elementary to the high school, but there's one that is very dear to our heart that we've already done a story on. We're going to follow up. Is at the end of the year in Centerville Elementary, there was a makerspace.
Yes. Yeah, so makerspace is a new term. I don't think it's commonly known. What is it? People hear makerspace. What is that? But it's really an area, as you've seen, where kids can come and be creative and invent and innovate, and we can let them loose in that kind of space to to build and to work with each other, with some sort of some parameters around it, but the goal is really to do some creativity and some problem solving and let them sort of take advantage of their own learning and their own creativity. So that's a very formal space, if you will, at Centerville Elementary, and we hope this year to be able to see it in more of our elementary schools. Beth Forbes, the principal at Barnstable, West Barnstable, has been working on an initiative. Makerspace doesn't always have to be in a room in and of itself. You can bring those kinds of materials and that mindset and philosophy into a regular classroom space and still accomplish the same goal with students.
It sounds like a very exciting year.
It's going to be. It promises to be a very exciting year.
Right. Anything else you want to tell parents and students?
I just think, to touch upon school safety remains our top priority. Parents should know that our educators have been trained in the ALICE protocol, which is, I think, probably one of the most effective school safety protocols. ALICE is an acronym that stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. So all of our principals have become ALICE certified instructors, which is a higher level of training, and all of our educators are participating in an online course to learn about the principles of ALICE. And then, beginning with the school year, we'll do more in-person training with our educators. And the benefit of ALICE is that it puts the decision-making into the hands of the adults, rather than being primarily in a lockdown. We're supporting our educators to make decisions if they can evacuate safely in any sort of incident. The goal is to evacuate. So there's that. We're also we have a new, which will begin October 1st, a visitor system, so that when adults enter a school building, they'll need to provide some sort of ID. So that will become more formalized as well. And again, all of this is to, again, just build upon the practices and protocols that we do have to ensure that our schools can be as safe as possible.
I can't wait for the first day of school.
Me too.
And welcome back to Barnstable.
Great. And welcoming everyone to a great 2018-19 school year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.